everybody, Ohio Fish Guy here. It's been raining like crazy. I really wish I could have got out fishing today, but conditions have been terrible here in Ohio. We've been getting a crap ton of rain here. The rivers are just super high. Even ponds are real dirty, too high. So today I'm going to be doing some fish tank maintenance, showing you guys what kind of fish I have and what I do to clean the tanks. I'm sure you can hear the water in the background. The levels are getting a little low from evaporation, so it's long overdue. I've been putting it off for about a week, so yeah, let's get to it. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is I'm going to go ahead, this is my African Cichlid tank. It's a 55 gallon, 4 feet by 21 inches high by about 13 inches thick. Full of African cichlids, got some clown loaches, a pleco in there, all kinds of cichlids, some Malawi, you know, those are your peacocks, haps, and imbunas. I got some Lake Tanganyikans in there, or as you can see, the frontosa. I've got a 5-bar cichlid in there. I can't remember the scientific name right now, but he's most likely hiding. But yeah, I got a whole bunch of cichlids in there, some clown loaches. So I'm going to start with this tank. I'm going to go ahead and take all those rocks out, move that center piece over a little bit so I can get some vacuuming done. But so we'll start here, I guess. Let's go. So now we've got the all the rocks moved out of the tank. Moved them all into this nice little tote here. Highly recommend them. They're really cheap at Walmart, $5. 18 gallons, perfect storage for rocks. I even put water in at one point. Perfect storage. But anyway, yeah, I got the rocks out of here. As you can see, this tank is dirty. There's debris. I just fed them, so there is a little bit of cloudiness going on, but I mean, you can see all the stuff on the bottom. Definitely needed some maintenance on this tank, so I'm gonna get the python out and we'll start siphoning the tank. So there it is. Move the rocks out. Move the centerpiece to the middle. I think I'm going to leave that in the middle instead of having it off to the right side. I like to change things up, and plus it's good to mix up the territories with cichlids. But yeah, I'm doing water change now, just letting the tank drain with my python. It's actually going pretty fast, so I won't have to wait much longer. But I'll probably do about 30%, maybe 35%. It's usually about what I do. I got good filtration on this tank, so I don't really have to do maintenance that often, just mostly to get the nitrates out, get the, you know, all the waste off the bottom. But the tank's a little cloudy because I was stirring up the gravel. The gravel, they had dug it all out, so I evened it all back out, made it look real nice. So yeah, I'm gonna drain this tank and put the rocks back in and fill back up. Okay, so I got the rocks where I want them to be. Honestly, that's probably the fastest I've ever been done, setting up the tank again with the decor, because I'm usually can never decide on how I want the rocks, but I think I like it like that. So, finishing up, filling it up. I've had my water conditioner in there and everything, so yeah, just gotta wait for this bad boy to fill up, and then we'll start on those tanks over there. Okay, so one thing I do want to talk about while this is filling up, you know, when I was reading into fish stuff and trying to figure out how I'm going to do my aquariums, I never really read about how to match the temperature to your tank when you're filling it up. And that is really important because you don't want it to be too cold, shock the fish. You can even make them, you know, get sick. If you go too high, I've done that a couple times where you'll see lots of steam on the lids and the oxygen in the water is almost gone because of the water made the oxygen depleted, because the hotter the water you have, the less oxygen in the water there is. So I keep my tanks around 80, 81, all of them, besides the guppy tank. They tend to do really well, tend to grow fast in that temperature. Most of the time in the summer it stays around that natural temperature, so the heaters don't really have to do anything. Wintertime, heaters tend to usually do a good job, keeping about 79, 80, depending on how cold it is. But yeah, when you're filling up your tank, you know, especially from tap water, you just want to take it out every once in a while, feel the water coming out, feel your tank. You know, if it's way too hot, you want to go turn that cold water up or the hot water down, and if it's too cold, of course, you want to turn that hot water up. So just want to talk about that real quick, but looks like it's almost done, so I'm going to shut the water off, and we'll get to the next tank. So as you guys can probably notice, it's so much quieter in here now that I filled that tank up, and the water and the outputs aren't splashing everywhere. Nice and full, calm water. Besides, I got the power head running, get some surface agitation going. But next is this tank. This is a grow out tank, 20 gallon high. I've got tons of fry in here. These are Red Empress fry. They're looking good, getting big. I got one in here that's looking really good. He's hiding back there in the back behind the sponge filter. But as you can see, this tank's pretty dirty. I'm gonna do a good water change, 50%, clean it up, try to get some of that algae off the back glass. I've got most of it with a scraper. It was completely covered, but yeah, I'm gonna have to get some more off, maybe in the back there, try to move the heater around and the sponge filter. But there's my biggest guy right there. Can't wait to get him in the big display tank. But he's already looking fabulous, and he's only about 1.5 to 2 inches, so he's looking real good. I got I think it's called a Penguin 350 hang on the back filter by Marineland on this tank. Does a great job. Got a sponge filter too, just for beneficial bacteria. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the water change on this, and we'll get back with you. So I just got done filling this tank back up. There's a lot of debris in there. That's because I just turned on the hang on the back filter. So it usually spits out a little bit of debris at first, but it'll be cleaned up within like 10 minutes. That filter is awesome, especially on a 20 gallon tank. I think it's made for like 50 to 75 is what it's rated for. But yep, got some of the algae cleaned off. It's looking better, much better. Currently, I'm filling this tank back up. This tank down here is a little 10 gallon that I have one little cichlid in because he got beat up from the other tank. So I'm getting him in here, letting him, get his colors, get a little bit of size. I treated him with some meds for his stress, but yeah. So I did a water change on this tank, same thing, some maintenance. So we're filling that back up. This one will fill up pretty fast with the Python, so gotta watch it so I don't overfill it. Overfilled this tank a little bit, so I'm gonna have to drain a little bit out of it, but that's not a problem. So and these guys are just getting really big, really gorgeous. They're about to outgrow this tank, so I'm probably gonna have to trade them back in to the fish store here soon. That's my plan. I might trade this guy back in because he's just not getting the size that I want, and I mean, I don't blame him for being in a 10 gallon tank all day. So yeah, that's that tank. I went ahead and changed the filter pads. Had been a while. I'm not worried about changing both of them at the same time. It's not a big deal because you got the sponge filter in there, so plenty of beneficial bacteria running through there. So I'm gonna fill this tank back up, go shut the water off, and almost done. Alright guys, and I am done with maintenance. So I guess I'm not done yet. Still need to do canister filters on this tank. I might do them tomorrow, just depending on how I feel. Really didn't feel like doing that tonight. I hate messing with canister filters. They're so gross. There's lots of stuff in them. It takes forever to clean them. But done with the water changes. The tanks are looking great so far. This one's really clearing up already. Got some fish in here. Just get some close-ups of these fish. That's a Venustes and Buna. It's a dragon blood. He's really pretty. A little stressed out. That's the Red Empress. He is one of my originals that I had in this tank, and he has just gotten so much color lately. His colors aren't popping that much right now, probably because of the water change, but that's the African tank. So yeah, here's the fry tank right next to it. It's starting to clear up. They're swimming around again, not stressed out anymore, doing good. Little guy down there is doing alright, can't really see him. I got the lights off in here to focus on the tanks. So, and the tank I did not show you guys yet is this. This is my 10 gallon shrimp and guppy tank. Got a couple plants in here. I got some swords in here. They're doing okay. But cheap tank, just running on a basic little sponge filter heater. I used to have under gravel filter in here. I don't run it anymore because it got really annoying from all the bubbles. So that sponge filter does a way better job anyway. But I got lots of guppies in here. Almost all these guppies are offspring of my originals. I had a couple deaths from old ones that I had for a year or so. But I got a ton of shrimp in here. They're kind of hard to see at times, but There's one right there. Right there. But the shrimp have been breeding in here like crazy. I mean, there's like probably 30 shrimp in here. Probably about 20 guppies, 15, 20 guppies. I see more little fry in there every day. So this tank's doing great. I didn't do a water change on it today because it doesn't need one. It's pretty self-sustaining. I do a water change on it maybe once a month, month and a half. And it's a small one, like 25%. So yeah, this tank's pretty cool. I've had it for a long time. Pretty neat tank. Driftwood in there, real manzanita driftwood. But those are my tanks. Really like fish keeping. So if you guys want to see more, you want to see more details on each fish or how to care for the fish, you know, or specific species profiles, things like that, let me know. I might be doing a fish store tour at my local fish store. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comments, please. Those mean a lot. Give me a like, even subscribe if you want to see more. Like I said, I want to do some fishing, but conditions have just been terrible, so until next time.